It's time for the Lakefront Living Realty radio show on News Talk KRMS. Lakefront Living Realty is Missouri's only real estate firm focused solely on lakefront and lake access properties, changing lives one lake house at a time. So let's talk the waterfront lifestyle. Please welcome owner-broker Annie Falstich and her guests for today's program.
Welcome to the Lakefront Living Real Estate Show, your trusted guide to buying or selling property at Lake of the Ozarks, where every day is a lake day. I'm Annie Falstich, owner-broker of Lakefront Living Realty, Missouri's only exclusive lakefront lake access brokerage, where we're changing lives one lake house at a time. I hope everybody's having a great start to the weekend. I cannot believe it's shootout. I feel like the shootout weekend is always a little bittersweet. One of my favorite weekends, week long actually. It's a whole week long of events of the summer, but it also signifies the end of the season is near. So it's a little bittersweet for me. I'm sure almost everyone is hearing about shootout as well and is pumped for today. But I do need to take a quick second to thank Captain Ron Dugan, Christy Jansen, and of course, all of the hundreds of volunteers that put countless hours into this event every year, making it the largest unsanctioned race in the nation. But more importantly, bringing hundreds of thousands of dollars to local charities and children, as well as even more dollars to our local economy here at Lake of the Ozarks. Lakefront Living agents deal with buyers and sellers of lakefront lake access property exclusively. So along with that niche of property come many features and details to be aware of. One of the most talked about and or question to myself is docks and dock electrical. So on this show, we will be covering all areas of docks throughout this season of episodes. But today, for future, I really want to break it down for listeners so you're able to get a full spectrum of accurate information on all areas regarding docks. Future shows, I plan to involve Ameren, discussing permits and dock envelopes. We plan to have dock companies on, discussing maintenance, new dock build, and or replacement, trade, of many others. Always remember, please, if you have any specific questions on docks, permits, or anything else pertaining to buying or selling lakefront property that you would like to see discussed on the show, please reach out to us directly anytime at lakefrontliving.com, or of course you can always call me directly on my cell phone, 573-216-4350. We really want to make this show about the listeners, about the buyers and the sellers, and getting the questions answered that you have. So today we're going to be discussing dock electrical, how it affects both sellers and buyers, hopefully giving you advice on steps you should take in both seats as a buyer or a seller, not to miss a detail, really. Increasing your chances of surprises or a fallen contract in the 11th hour, or even possible worst nightmare is after you close as a buyer, have those surprises. So today we have Catalyst Electric in the station with us. Started in 2008, this company is co-owned by master and journeyman electricians who are well qualified in all facets of electrical systems. Catalyst runs their company on the belief that integrity pays the bills and takes pride in being the lake's premier electrical company. Catalyst is also a part of a group of developing Lake of the Ozarks Association of Electrical Contractors. So I want to welcome owner John Bussey to the show today.
Thank you, Annie. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming. So to start off, for our listeners, give us a little history on Catalyst Electric and some information, then go into some information for those who do not know about the new Association of Electrical Contractors that we have here at Lake of the Ozarks. Then we're going to dig deeper into our topic of dock electrical and how that affects buyers and sellers at Lake of the Ozarks.
Sure. Well, we started in 2008, and wasn't the best time to start, I guess, or maybe it was during the recession there, and it was really out of necessity because we were working for a contractor, my business partner and I, and we didn't have work. So we decided, well, we better do something. So we started an LLC and started with Seth and I and another gentleman, and we've grown to 20 of us now, and we have had some bumps in the road, but have learned a lot and feel that we're really blessed to be where we are and with the guys that we have. And as far as the Lake of the Ozarks Association of Electrical Contractors goes, we are one of the charter members. And the reason, and it started in 2016, so a little while ago.
Okay.
And it's taken some time to have lawyers look over the documents that we drafted and to make sure that we're doing things right. And really the purpose of it is, with the drownings and the electrocutions and things that happened years back, we wanted to provide training, testing, and accountability for contractors who want to voluntarily join the association. And it's, at the end of September here will be our first round of testing and going through the curriculum that was actually Amron's engineer helped to write. So that's really neat that Amron's has donated that time to help us out so that we can get better training to provide homeowners with a list of contractors who have been through the training and have tested and passed, of course, that they can be more confident in the contractor that they hire to do the electrical on their docks.
Awesome. So up until now, or even now, I guess, does Amron, do you have to have a qualified, and you may even be able to explain qualified, or licensed electrician do the work on your dock when you're bringing it up to code? Is that something that they mandate?
Amron doesn't require that a licensed electrician that they have to do the work. The local jurisdictions, the fire departments mostly, do the inspections, and to be a qualified electrician, in quotation marks, you have to have a business license with the city that you're doing the work in. So whether it's Lake Ozarks, Rocky Mount, Eldon, Osage Beach, Camdenton, and those areas. Okay.
So really, I'm assuming in this, I had recently heard of Lake of the Ozarks Association of Electrical Contractors, was very intrigued by that. So it's also helping homeowners, I assume, to know that when they go through this association, they have that peace of mind knowing that they're hiring a qualified electrical contractor.
Exactly. What the association will have is a list of contractors who have went through the training and have passed the test, like I said, and they don't have to hire someone from the association to do the work, but they will have the peace of mind knowing that they've went through the training, they understand the electrical system better, and that they are competent to do the work.
Okay, great. Is there a way that homeowners can contact that association of electrical contractors?
Yeah, the website is LOZAEC.org, and they can go there and get the contact information and contact the board, which is made up of 3 of the contractors. And I'll add that the board is actually every year is voted in by the members of the association. So it's not 3 big contractors doing kind of with the iron fist sort of thing.
Okay, so that does fluctuate then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you get everybody involved. Mm-hmm. And then does Amron also have your contact information? That you said they're on board. Yeah.
In fact, I believe that they are going to have a list of the people who have passed the training on their website for homeowners as a resource for them.
Okay. How would somebody contact Catalyst Electric?
Ooh, well, there's lots of ways. You can call us at 573-552-8488, and there are extensions there to get you where you need to go. Or they can go to catalystelectric.com, where all of our contact information is, and we've got some information about our company there, too.
Awesome. We're talking about docks today. We're really focused on docks and dock electrical, both for buyers and sellers. So when we get back, I do want to get a quick rundown, too, of some other services, though, that Catalyst Electric offers, just so our listeners can know about that. But we'll take a short break, and we'll be right back to talk more with John Bussey, owner of Catalyst Electric, on Lakefront Living Radio Show, News Talk KRMS, 1150 AM, 97.5 FM, and 103.3 FM, and of course now on HD3 at 93.5 FM. You can always find us at lakefrontliving.com. We'll be right back. Welcome to Lakefront Living Real Estate Show, your trusted guide to buying or selling property at Lake of the Ozarks, where every day is a lake day. I'm Annie Falstage, owner, broker of Lakefront Living Realty, Missouri's only exclusive lakefront lake access brokerage, where we're changing lives one lake house at a time. Welcome back. So before the break, if you missed the first part of the show, we have been talking to co-owner of Catalyst Electric, John Bussey. Today we are on the topic of dock electrical and dock safety, which is one area that I get a lot of questions about, both with buyers and sellers. It's been an area that has changed a lot over the years at Lake of the Ozarks, thankfully for the better, unfortunately due to unfortunate circumstances. So I do strongly feel that this is an important topic to talk about. When we left off, I was talking to John a little bit more about Catalyst. And so just briefly, obviously, I know that you all are highly trained in docks and you deal a lot with dock electrical. But go ahead and give our listeners a good rundown of other areas in the electrical field that you all cover.
Well, we cover everything that the utility doesn't, basically. So conduit and wire before the meter, installing new services, wiring houses, commercial buildings, service work. You know, my GFI isn't working in my kitchen. Can you fix this? Yes, we can. And we're also getting some training here in this fall on some solar installations and design. So we're excited about that. But really the bread and butter around here is residential and commercial work and some industrial too. Awesome.
Well, as I said before the break, and my intent for today is to cover both buyer and seller questions and topics regarding dock electrical specifically. So Lakefront Living prides ourselves truly in educating sellers on the 5 golden rules when selling lakefront property: lifestyle, marketing, exposure, price, and of course, working with a specialist. We always suggest that the seller have their dock inspected prior to closing. This will start the ball rolling on a process that you may be surprised to find takes a little longer than anticipated. Anytime you can avoid additional stress for a homeowner, that's exactly what we do. I mean, this is a huge part of our job, is keeping that transaction and selling process as smooth as possible. Having the dock electrical checked up front and not only bringing it up to current code, but getting a signed clean bill of health will avoid delays and stress when you're under contract. I mean, I can honestly not tell you how many times I hear from my sellers that their dock is up to code and they have it done. They've had it done 2 or 3 years ago. Sometimes, it's done. We did it, 4 years ago. Unfortunately, the codes, as Catalyst has referred to, and we'll talk a little bit more about, they continue to constantly change. For the good. So also, depending on where you live, Ameren will require a clean inspection report within the last 12 months in order to transfer the permits to the new buyer. So really, waiting until we have that contract is not the way to go. At times, we can have a closing negotiated for as fast as 2 weeks to 30 days is really typical. So getting on the fire department if necessary, and or the electrician's schedules may not always be that easy and time effective. especially as, John can contest to, when we get into those spring and summer months and everybody comes, our population, I think, triples. Everybody's calling. Our contractors are booked up for weeks, sometimes months out. So that can't always be just as easy as a phone call and a same-day service. But again, it's really about causing unnecessary anxiety and stress, or worse, money out of your pocket if you're going to have to end up delaying a closing or losing a buyer because, we don't have all of our ducks in a row. So, John, can you tell me, or can you even count, really, how many calls you get from sellers, or I hate to say it, agents, real estate agents, needing their sellers or their own personal dock inspected, as well as the work done for a closing that's happening possibly in days?
Boy, can I count it? I don't know that I could count it, but it happens often.
Guilty as charged,
yeah,
but I'm not pointing any fingers. It happens, but
yeah, you've called me a couple times.
Yeah, Shh, no, don't say that.
Yeah. No, we understand though that real estate. There's a lot that goes into it. We're not the only contractor or thing that needs to be taken care of before the house sells. So we always try to make it a priority to get out there and get the inspection done as soon as possible. And if we've got to kind of move that project up to get it done before closing, we make a concerted effort to get that done for the real estate. But yeah, it happens often. And I would say to homeowners, if you're thinking about selling, get that dock inspection first. Most contractors will do it for free, and they'll give you, what it's going to cost to get that taken care of before, even you may call an agent.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, is what that charge was to come out and inspect the dock.
Yep, it is. Well, for our company, it is free and no obligation, and you'll get an estimate for the repairs or the rewire that's necessary to bring it to code. Okay.
And then once you bring it to code, is your paperwork sufficient for Ameren to be satisfied?
No. If there's an inspecting authority like Osage Beach or Lake Ozark, they'll have to come out and inspect it, and there is a permit fee with those jurisdictions, and they'll come and inspect the work and say, yes, it's good, and they'll sign off on it, and that permit will be submitted to Ameren, I believe, to get the dock permitted.
Do you all help coordinate or facilitate that, or is that all up to the homeowner?
We can. A lot of times homeowners prefer to call the fire department themselves just so they have a direct line to them. But if it's more convenient, if it's someone from St. Louis, or even if someone just doesn't want to go through and do that, we can do that for them. We have a good relationship with all the fire departments and inspecting authorities around here. So, we can get that taken care of for them if they need us to.
Yeah, make that happen. And again, because there really are just more people involved than I think what most homeowners realize. So again, that process can take a little longer than what you've anticipated. How often, John, do they change the codes? And are there different codes for different areas of the lake?
Well, the National Electrical Code changes every 3 years. So 2017 was the last code edition. And really, it depends on what the municipality or the inspecting authority, which code they've adopted. Like right now, Osage Beach is on 2011, I believe, and they were going to be this year getting up to date with it to the 2017 code. So it really depends on what the municipality or the fire department adopts, which code they're going with.
Okay, so definitely different areas of the lake are looking a little bit different.
A little bit, and with the association, the Lake of the Ozarks Association of Electrical Contractors, what's been really neat about that is not only have the contractors and Ameren been sitting in the meetings, but the fire departments have also been involved. So they're really trying to get on the same page as far as, okay, this is what we're looking for. Yeah. On the docks across the lake, and that's going to make it easier for everybody, homeowners, contractors, and the inspecting authorities.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about buyers as well, but anything else that you want to touch on for sellers that may have a private lakefront dock that they're getting ready to sell?
Well, the first thing I would say is if you're getting ready to sell, like you say, is call an electrician, preferably Catalyst, to come inspect your dock. And we'll say, okay, there are some repairs and it's going to cost this much money. Or it may be that the dock is so beyond repair that a rewire is needed. And it may be that you have a lot of electrical on there right now and we can actually eliminate some things before anyone sees it and get it to code so that what the potential buyer is looking at is the end product and that it's done before the closing date.
Yep, perfect. On buyers, honestly, having that verbiage as part of your purchase contract is crucial. It not only ensures the safety of your family, but it can also save you thousands on the back end. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit more, touch on when we come back. Time for a short break, but we will be back on Lakefront Living Radio Show discussing buyers and dock electrical. We'll speak a little bit more to John Bussey with Catalyst Electric. We also have Dave Hotz with Dock Lifeguard joining us in the studio as well. So please stay tuned to Lakefront Living Radio Show on News Talk KRMS. You can always find us at lakefrontliving.com or reach us directly on our office line at 573-693-1613. We'll be right back. Welcome to Lakefront Living Radio Real Estate Show, your trusted guide to buying and selling property at Lake of the Ozarks, where every day is a lake day. I'm Annie Falstage, owner-broker of Lakefront Living Realty, Missouri's only exclusive lakefront lake access brokerage, where we're changing lives one lake house at a time. Welcome back from break. Earlier in the show today, we've been talking all about dock electrical. We've been talking with Catalyst Electric and co-owner John Bussey, giving us some great information for sellers on dock electrical. I spoke a little bit about sellers and buyers, but just to finish up on that ending thought where we were with buyers, again, that verbiage is crucial. It's a crucial part of that contract, and it will only ensure the safety of your family, but again, can save you thousands on the back end. And in some areas, you must prove that your dock is up to current code prior to transferring the permits after the sale. So every transaction is different, as every lake house is different. So be sure to surround yourself with a team of lake area experts to make sure that that gives you a positive outcome. Of course, if you ever are wanting, one of our team of lake area experts to ensure a positive outcome, always reach us. Reach us at lakefrontliving.com. If you're looking for those buyer or seller success guides, those comprehensive success guides we've spoke about in previous episodes, you can always, again, reach us at lakefrontliving.com. You can get me directly. My email is annief@lakefrontliving.com, or call me directly anytime, 573-216-4350. I want to thank John for joining us today. Everybody's super busy. It's shootout. Things are buzzing. It's awesome. This whole week has just been full of activities, and the lake is buzzing. So I really appreciate you taking the time out to join us and give the listeners education and further information on Dock Electrical. If you have not checked out their website, please do so. CatalystElectric.com. It's an awesome website, first of all, but I love that you have a specific area and page that's dedicated to docks. That was something, I haven't seen on a lot of others, and it's easy for anybody to send as a homeowner to go to, or agents send your clients to, so they can get some further information, because it also links directly to Amron's page. Yeah,
we know that where we live, that's really important to address, and it's a big part of our business, so we dedicated a page to it, and glad you like it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, thanks again for joining us. So hang out, stay in the studio if you don't mind, because you never know, we may have some more questions pop up for you if you don't have to run out here shortly. But I really do, again, appreciate your expertise and cannot say enough about the lake area, Lake of the Ozarks Association of Electrical Contractors. I think that's been a must for many years, and that's only going to help bring peace of mind to our homeowners here at Lake of the Ozarks. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Dave Hotz.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us again. I know you are a super busy guy and shootouts crazy, so I really appreciate your time as well. In our industry, a mistake can cost a client or ourselves as agents thousands of dollars, unfortunately. But this is truly one of the only issues that can cause loss of life.
Absolutely. We're very proud of our product. And it's nice to be able to invent something that will help humanity out, help warn of hazardous situations, because unfortunately you can't hear, see, or smell electricity. Now with our Dock Lifeguard device, if something's wrong, you're going to hear a loud alarm and a red flashing light. You're going to be made aware of that rather than taking that leap of faith and jumping in the water and not knowing if it's hot or not.
Yeah. How long have you all been in business or had the lifeguard?
The Dock Lifeguard, we've been around for about 8 years. My background is I have a computer engineering degree, and I started Dock Realty about 18 years ago. Been on many docks, seen a lot of bad wiring, and then around 8 years ago, we had the 2 deaths, followed by the week later a death afterwards, and light bulb went out off in my head, and I go, I know we can build something to warn of these hazardous situations. And about 6 months later, we had our Dock Lifeguard product out there, and so we've had them in the field now for 8 years.
Awesome. Well, that's why I wanted you on the show today, and I'm so glad that you're here, because I do want to bring that awareness. It's very near and dear to my heart as well. We live here full time. Our kids swim off of our dock daily. We have Dock Lifeguard on our dock personally. Any of my clients that do not already have one, I'm suggesting that, but I still hear a lot of people that don't know about Dock Lifeguard, so I'm happy to have you here. And thanks for giving us a little bit of background. I mean, that's kind of what we wanted to know is that background and how it was developed. We know, unfortunately, the reasons why it was developed. Are there specific parameters that the lifeguard covers, or size of dock? Do you need more than one system if you have a large dock?
Every environment is different. The clarity of the water, how many underwater pieces of metal are in the water. We've actually tested in the field in a pool environment where there's no underwater structures out well past 250 feet detecting electricity. We're very, very sensitive. We start testing or recording at 80 millivolts, which is 0.08 volts. You start feeling tingling around 4 volts. That's like you take a 9-volt battery and touch it to your tongue when you're a little kid. You start feeling at 4 volts. We set our systems up here at the lake with the ambient voltage here we're seeing is below a half a volt. It's usually below 0.1 volt in a proper environment. So we set off our alarms to alarm around 1.5 volts, well below that 4 volt threshold, because you shouldn't have 1.5 volts here at the lake. You should have less than 0.1 volts. So the nice thing about our system, we not only monitor the water around your dock, but we're monitoring your dock frame that's bonded to your ground that's coming down from the house. And people don't realize that's how these docks are getting electrified. Last Sunday, I got a call from a gentleman in Alabama. He did not even have electricity on his dock, and his son was life-flighted to the hospital. He grabbed hold of the dock and it fried his fingers. Well, what happened is he had the best grounded source around. A neighbor's dock went hot. That stray electricity is trying to find the easiest path to home. That was his dock, right through his dock. So even without electricity at the dock, if you have a good grounded source, electricity can flow that way. So many people come up to me and say, well, I'm safe. I turn off my breaker when I go swimming. Yes, that's a good idea, but you're not severing all 3 lines. That green ground wire is a double-edged sword. It can bring stray electricity back to earth and dissipate, but if you have improper grounding, and that green ground wire can also bring stray electricity from a faulty hot water heater, air conditioner, a transformer that get hit by lightning, and bring it down onto your dock and all the docks that transformer serves. So it's really, you gotta watch the water, you gotta watch the frame and the ground system, and that's where the electricians like Catalyst Electric are so valuable. So many people say, well, can I install it myself? I don't want you to install it yourself. I want a professional there, because when they install it, they're going to be checking your ground rod. They're going to check for current coming down on the ground wire. We don't want to put Band-Aids on your dock and ignore it. We want to be able to, if there's a problem, fix it.
Wow, there's just so much that goes into it, and so much more information that we really want to give those homeowners. When you say, does it cover, when you have Dock Lifeguard on your dock, will that cover then the electricity of your neighboring docks, or does that depend on how far away they are? I'm sure.
Yeah, electricity dissipates over distance in the water, but we have several videos out there, especially at the Lake of the Ozarks. We'll go to the neighbor's dock, light it up, and the water around it, and our dock lifeguards will be alarming. I actually did a test video where we actually installed a dock lifeguard on a boat. I took our boat next to the dock, and sure enough, when we got close to the dock, it started firing off, and it was electrified. So we're pretty excited. We have our dock version. We're coming out with pool version. We have a boat version. We're coming out with an industrial version. And our latest version, through request of the people that use it, you can set it up to trip GFCI breakers, so you can actually have it set up to kill the power to your dock. We have it battery backed up also, and then with less than $100 of hardware, you can actually set it up to send you notices on your phone.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. We're gonna keep you around if you don't mind. Keep talking to you a little bit more about Dock Lifeguard. I think that, you touched on a good point that most people don't even realize where a lot of this electricity is coming from. They just assume that it's all on their dock. I know you have multiple stories. You could probably share with us the rest of the hour show. And I personally had one recently where a client found out it was their neighbor's septic tank had just been replaced. To investigate that, and us finally figure out that was the source, it's just wild to me, the amount of areas, that could be coming from, and just when you think that you're protected. So we are going to take a short break time, but we will be back to talk more with Dave Hotz with Dock Lifeguard on Lakefront Living Radio Show on News Talk KRMS 1150. 97.5 FM and 103.3 FM. And now HD3 at 93.5 FM. Always remember you can find us at lakefrontliving.com. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lakefront Living Real Estate Show, your trusted guide to buying or selling property at Lake of the Ozarks, where every day is a lake day. I'm Annie Falstidge, owner-broker of Lakefront Living Realty, Missouri's only exclusive lakefront lake access brokerage, where we're changing lives one lake house at a time. Welcome back. If you missed earlier in the show, we've been talking today about dock electrical. An area that I get a lot of questions both from sellers and buyers. We've had John Bussey, owner of Catalyst Electric, here talking with us. And we left before the break with owner Dave Hotz of Dock Lifeguard. And right before the break, I mentioned, I'm sure that we could go on and on with stories, and you just convinced me of that during the short break. John and Dave were just going back and forth with numerous stories that they have of homeowners where either, where their dock lifeguard goes off and their dock is up to code. So they never know, even when your dock is up to code and you've had those done, recently, things happen. Just so, Dave mentioned storms, a squirrel eats through a wire. I mean, there's just all of these things that people don't take into consideration. So even though your dock is up to code and everything, you think is up to snuff, you don't really know. And that's where Dock Lifeguard comes in my opinion. I mean, it really is truly about saving the lives of your loved ones, or your neighbors' loved ones for that matter. This may not be something, and never is, I don't believe anybody does this intentionally, but, you're obviously not defaulting on your dock electrical in order to hurt others. So by having this dock lifeguard on your dock, it just makes sense to me. But give me a little bit more information. I read on your site, docklifeguard.org, which is awesome. Some great information. But I read that it can now be used in pools as well.
Oh, absolutely. We've been testing for quite some time now. We just got awarded a big contract down in Florida for a big water park. So we're always continuously looking ways of improvement. We're actually have, in our research department, we're actually doing some data logging. So if we have a problem child dock, it goes off in the middle of the night, we can actually go in and start helping the electricians figure out what's going on. It's really tough, when the dock lifeguard alarms it. Well, what could it be? It could be hundreds of things. It's just a matter of calling a good qualified electrician that knows what to check. And it's tough. It's tough if there's if they go out there and it's not alarming. Well, everything's fine, and then turn on the neighbor's sprinkler system, turns on, and your dock lifeguard goes off again.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I'm sure it just helps in that investigation so much, getting to the final source without that going off. I can't imagine where you would even begin to start.
Well, the way to start is go with a good electrical company that knows about docks. This organization that bring it to the lake is long overdue. We really welcome them. We've talked to several members in it, and it's very rewarding for us. And they've reached out to us to educate them about our product, and we're looking for input too. These guys have input on what they'd like to see, and we're listening to them to make a better product.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting about pools. I know today we're focusing on docks, but there are so many of our homeowners that obviously now have pools and have pools on the lakes. So I think that's also a huge part to think about. You might as well just grab one on your pool and on your dock. But for lakefront homeowners that have a private dock, what is the installation process and the cost to put dock lifeguard on there?
The dock lifeguard units sell for $950. A good qualified electrician, they should be able to do a inspection of your dock, look at it, install it in an hour or two. So you're probably looking, when it's all said and done, under $1,200. But what they're going to do when the person installing it, they're actually going to do a once over on your dock too. It's just not, here, let's throw a couple screws in the post and drop it in the water. They're actually going to be measuring your ground rod impedance. They're going to be measuring for back feet on the ground. They're making sure your outlets are wired correctly. So it's a good safety check. And even though you have a dock lifeguard, it's still very important, like in the spring, schedule an annual inspection. Your dock has been going up and down with the rise and fall of the lake. It's been all winter long. Nobody's been in the water yet. Just call your local electrician, have them come out there and say, hey, come out here, look at our dock, make sure nothing is changed, make sure we're still in a safe environment.
Okay. Once you have the dock lifeguard installed on your dock, do you recommend the homeowner call you all with questions, or if they're going off, or do they just contact their local electrician?
One of the not least, but a very low-cost tool that every homeowner should have is a digital multimeter test meter, because you can quite easily test the water around your dock, and that's a good thing to have in case something ever goes off. You can actually measure the voltage around your dock. You can buy a good voltmeter for under $20, and that's very important too, because if the dock lifeguard is going off, well, first I would recommend call your electrician, but they'll come out and they're actually going to start measuring voltages on your dock and your neighbor's dock to help isolate it.
Awesome. I can't even, only $1,200 to potentially save the lives of your loved ones. It sounds like a no-brainer. I can only hope that someday dock lifeguard becomes mandatory. And I hope that we're moving into that direction, that people, now that we're getting into those codes, and that people really take that seriously so that we can continue no longer losing unnecessary lives at Lake of the Ozarks. So, Dave, thanks so much for being in the studio today.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. Anything else you want to leave our listeners with regarding dock lifeguard?
Well, we've talked about yourself and your kids and everything. One of the hardest stories I had to listen to was someone lost their dog, and they watched their dog He electrocuted. It was about a guy wired his own dock, and they shared the same eye bolt for the support cable, and he didn't tell anybody, and he actually lost his dog, and it was just a tearjerker. So, people have pets that are swimming in the water and things like that, you owe it to them, too, to make sure they have a safe environment. Well,
please, again, go to docklifeguard.org. You all, I'm sure you can get some information also. You'll be at Shootout. Yeah.
Our website is very good, and our Facebook has some great videos. And even go to YouTube and search for Dock Lifeguard installations. You're going to see hundreds and hundreds of us docks that we're on. We're testing and showing how the system works. But more importantly, be safe. Always remember to check your dock annually. Get the name of a good electrician. Catalyst Electric, I highly recommend them. They're very familiar with our systems, and be safe at the lake.
Thanks so much. So always in every episode, every week, I want to talk about a featured listing, special listing. Today's listing is very unique. I'm taking you to an interior lot in 6 Mile Cove, where you have the best of all worlds. Located on nearly a flat lot at the end of a cul-de-sac, this home has a huge view of the main channel, but is nestled inside of Millionaire's Cove. So no steps to the dock, and on a pie-shaped lot with 175 feet of waterfront, this estate home is selling with a 2-well dock already in place, but has enough room for any size dock that you'd like. This home features a large open floor plan and tons of windows letting in natural light from floor to ceiling. There are 5 bedrooms, 6 baths, and a 2-car finished garage. Plus, one of the most important or most interesting features, I think, is the unfinished 3rd-car garage that's large enough to house an RV. Turn it into extra living, man cave, both, you name it. So an RV parking on a flat lot in 4 Seasons, I told you it was rare. This one is rare. So the sellers have relocated to Florida and are ready to sell, but always, to gather more information, see photos, see videos of this home and this lot, visit our Lakefront Living Realty Missouri YouTube, our Facebook, our Instagram, and lakefrontliving.com. We always talk about selling the lake lifestyle at Lakefront Living, and boy is today one that not many, if any other lakes across the country can say that they can simulate. Lake of the Ozarks Shootout is truly like no other. So I hope everyone takes in every second of time that they have today with friends and family, cherishing every last moment of summer and all that the lake has to offer. And same as Dave said, be safe and be kind to others on the lake. If you are with friends today on the water and you've always wanted to enjoy the lake lifestyle yourself, now is the time. As we say at Lakefront Living Realty, life is short, buy the lake house. But in all seriousness, the fall is the perfect time to pick up that new lake house. Tune in next week to learn more about fall winter market and hear from a local lender regarding record low interest rates. My family and I, we live and work to boat and enjoy all that the Lake of the Ozarks has to offer. Real estate truly is my passion, so every day is a lake day. And I'll tell you right now, I'm feeling the need for speed. So let's get back to Shootout. And until next week, enjoy this amazing weather. And always find us at lakefrontliving.com. And tune in next week to Lakefront Living Radio Show on KRMS News Talk or 97.5 FM. We'll see you next week.